Hi, I'm Peter from Coffee Parts, and today we're looking at these, the Etzinger ETZ-I portable hand grinders. Etzinger have been making grinders and grinder components for a very long time, but the name might not sound familiar, and that's because of the grinding manufacturing behind a lot of brands that are familiar. So think of the Baratza SETI range, so the Baratza SETI 30, 270, 270WI. If you look at their panel, you will see Etzinger on them. Not only Baratza, but you might see some Brevils and even the La Marzocco Swift mini grinders. Now, one of the main things Etzinger is known for is their conical blades, generally 32 mils, and also the RRB, rotating ring burr, which effectively means it's the external blade, not the center blade, that rotates, meaning they've got a shaftless design. So looking at this unit, it's a little hand grinder, and they come in two variants. So we've got the regular and the trim, and really the only difference between them is the diameter of the body here. So think 55 mil versus 48 mil. And obviously two colors, the silver and the black. One thing you don't notice unless you're close up is how beautiful they are. All the branding on it, all the markings are actually not printed on, but rather just a different texture of the aluminium body. Talking about their builds, not only do they feel well, but they're all magnetized, so everything moves really neatly and comes out really easy. So you can pull them all out to clean without any tools, put it back in really simply and dial it in. Everything just connects. Talking about dialing in, you've got 23 steps or 23 numbers divided in 88 steps. So each movement is 0.02 of a millimeter. Although it can be a little bit tricky to do by hand, you can turn this around and then it's very easy to adjust the tiniest of movements. Talking about adjustment, it is also one of the few grinders that the adjustment is on the outside. Normally you'd have to pull the bottom out and adjust inside. So this makes it a lot easier to change between grinds. And going from 1, which is probably very close to a Turkish espresso, 3 to 5 being espresso, all the way up to cold brew, you really do have a large range. Now talking about the burrs, they run 32 mil conical, and you might think, well, they're the same as my Baratza SETI, or the same as the electric version of these grinders, the ETZ-Max, but they're a different cut on the blade. Effectively, these burrs are dual purpose, so they really are made to go from all the way from espresso to filter. When on the ETZ-Max or the Baratza, they're more specific burrs. Pulling this apart, one thing that's cool is to see that internal burr move. So as you move this around, it's a rotating ring burr, or the outside that's moving. And it's a shaftless design, so you can easily grind 30 grams of coffee. Now for espresso, I tend to run 20 grams, but if you are doing a V60, 30 grams is a common measurement. Locking it back in, let's just bring it down to 3, or let's make it 4. One thing to note is this regular unit here is an original unit. So the shaft used to go all the way back in, and you can play around and get a bit deeper. On the new model, they've now put just a little stopper there, so it only goes in not to affect the burr on the inside. It's a tiny little change, but one that's quite nice in terms of looking after the grinder. But let's put 20 grams in and see what it's like to run espresso. Just putting in 20 grams of coffee. We're gonna grind it out. I've got it set to 4 at the moment, which is between the 3 and 5 of what's common. And it's actually counterclockwise movement. So the first time you use it, it does feel a little bit funny, but you very quickly get used to it. And there you go, everything is now ground out. Now we can easily pull the bottom out and have a look at the coffee. One thing that's also really cool about this grinder is that they've made the cup be able to transfer very easily into your 58 ml portafilter, in which then you can go on and tap. So thank you for that. That's really convenient. If you're using an AeroPress, you can do it. It is a little bit tight. And obviously for pour over or filter, you're just tipping it in, which is quite easy. Another thing to note is when you do open it, you do get a little bit of retention around here the finer you go. So as it's the rotating ring burr that moves up or down to adjust the grind, when it does get finer or anything on espresso or very close to that 1 mark, you are getting retention. Up higher in the 5s, 10s and 20s, you're not. So that's just one little thing to bear in mind. Doesn't really make much of a difference, I don't feel, but compared to a Commandant, you do notice it. Also compared to a Commandant, it is a little bit faster, but overall, there's something really nice about the feel, being able to adjust it from the outside. The print up close, I really like things that are beautifully designed, and some things you really need to have in your hand to kind of feel the design and how beautifully well put together they are. And this is one of those grinders. So that was a short and sweet look into the Etzinger ETZ-I hand grinder. Curious to know, which of these two would you pick, the regular or the trim? In which color, the silver or the black? Or neither, would you go for the Commandant or any other brand? Let me know in the comments below. Also, like always, if this video has brought you value, hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. See you on the next video, and thank you again.